Have your teens ever lied to you about any of the following things? Whether they've done their homework or studied for a test. Whether they've brushed their teeth. Which friends they're going to hang out with. What they're doing with their friends. The list goes on. If your teens sometimes or frequently lie to you, you probably feel like you can't trust them anymore, which makes it hard for you to have a good relationship with them. The question is, why do your teens lie to you? It typically boils down to one of these 3 reasons. 1. They don't want to get in trouble. 2. They don't want you to make a negative comment. 3. They want to get you off their back, at least temporarily. What this means is that in most situations, your teens are not out to intentionally deceive you. They lie as a defense mechanism. So if you want your teens to stop lying to you, this is what you need to know. I need to bring you back to something you may have learned in English class when you were a young student. The 5 W's and 1 H. The 5 W's are who, what, where, when, why. And the 1 H is how. The 5 W's and 1 H is an approach that's used to ask 6 specific categories of questions, so you can gather all the relevant information about an event or situation. When you suspect that your teens have done something wrong or irresponsible, I'm sure it's natural for you to ask many questions that are some combination of the 5 W's and 1 H. But did you know that 5 out of the 6 categories of questions are very likely to cause your teens to lie? I'll give you some examples to show you what I mean. Here's a who question a parent might ask a teenager. Who is the one who decided to get the alcohol? You can imagine that many teens will lie in response to this question, especially if they were the ones who decided to get the alcohol. Here's an example of a what question. What have you been doing to prepare for the test? A good proportion of teens will exaggerate or lie if they're asked this question. Now let me give you an example of a where question. Where did you get the money to buy those expensive shoes? Lots of teenagers will be tempted to lie in their response. Same thing with this when question. When are you going to stop playing that video game and start studying? And lastly, here's a why question that many teens will not respond truthfully to. Why didn't you submit the essay on time? What these examples show is that who, what, where, when, and why questions often cause teenagers to feel accused and to become defensive. And so they'll be very tempted to lie to you. This leaves us with the 1H. How? How questions are your best bet if you want to get the truth out of your teenagers. How questions are less accusatory and focus more on what happened instead of assigning blame. So as far as possible, when you're trying to find out the truth, try to ask more how questions. Here are some examples of how questions you might ask your teens. How did you and your friends end up at the party? How is your preparation going for the upcoming test? How did you decide to do that? How did the essay end up being overdue? Of course, it's important for you to try to maintain your composure as you ask your teenagers these how questions. Don't jump to conclusions before your teenagers have replied. If you're yelling at them, it doesn't matter what type of question you ask them. They definitely won't respond well. And just to clarify, I'm not saying that you should never ask who, what, where, when, or why questions. And I'm not saying all these questions are always bad. But I am saying that how questions are the ones you should try to ask more often, especially when it seems likely that your teens have done something wrong. Quick question. Does your teenager sometimes lack motivation? If so, I have a resource for you. It's this free ebook I've written entitled 16 Keys to Motivating Your Teenager. Visit daniel-wong.com/ebook to download the ebook today. I've also included the download link in the description below. And here's this other video I've created about the best way to discipline your teenager. In the video, you'll learn the simple and effective approach that works every time when you're trying to discipline your teenager. You'll find this video useful, so watch it next.